All right, let's welcome in Brett Goode into the conversation. We'll start there, Brett, with John Madden. And you played in the National Football League. You probably talked to guys about Madden, or you played the video game back in the day, or you listened to him, whatever the case may be. When you heard the news, what were some of your first shots about the legendary broadcaster and coach?
Oh, it was sad because, just recently watched that All Madden documentary, and it was brought up so many memories of when I got to see the Madden bus for the first time, or I got to, when I got on the Madden game, and it's just like, that was what you, and honestly, in the documentary, he looked healthy. He looked sick, didn't look ill, and he may have had something, and could have been just he looked like he was in good shape, he was going to live I wasn't expecting that to pop across the screen last night, and so it was just kind of shocking.
And I think when you think of him, the frizz and the sayings, and then him to win his Brett, you know football inside and out because so easy to understand and to go on with is because he made the game full for a lot of us that maybe didn't play football past high school.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that was great about him is people, and it was boys and girls, men and women. It was everybody just trying to show them about the game and trying to understand football and how, because it's not just what you see on TV. It's so much else that's going on, focused on them. All about there was a deal even on his documentary on talking about his video game. They were trying to, you've got to have a lineman in there. And so he was always trying to teach people, always trying to show them. And he was the same person on TV as he was to all his friends. You can see that's just his personality. And then obviously the commercials that you were talking about earlier.
Before all of these games, the broadcast crew will meet with the coaches, coordinators, the star players of these teams, and oftentimes maybe the broadcasters are a little more, if you will, starstruck or anxious to meet or have conversation with the players. I think when Madden walked in the room, it was just the reverse, right? I mean, I've never been in there, but I can only imagine that even one of his favorite players, like a Brett Favre, or even the biggest high-profile coaches, Brett. Madden was always the star in the room whenever he was in there. The players that he was covering were the ones that were anxious to meet the broadcaster. It was usually not that way most weeks unless Madden was Penn.
I agree with you, and that was one thing. If you hadn't seen the documentary, go look at it, because there's a deal that Favre talks about that Madden snuck in a little clip, that they had. And I think guys just that they respected and they appreciated. He was about the game, but he was about, it was just football. It was just fun. It was laughter. It was just, it was so great, and he was just honest. Like that true being of himself just kind of came out towards everybody, and everybody loved that because it was just him. I mean, you can't even hardly explain it because of how big of a legend he was. I mean, they made the All Madden used to be an All Madden team, and people wanted to be on that. And you look at those guys that were on that, and the toughness and they were kind of the bad boys of the NFL. The characters of those guys, where they were, that was just what they wanted to be. They wanted to make the All Madden team. Like, you weren't really considered a player if you didn't make that team back then. So it's the respect that everybody has towards him, and absolutely, he walks into the room, everybody would just look at him because he was the star.
You played in Green Bay. There's no question one of his all-time favorite, Brett Favre. What was the feel for that relationship like when you were there? And you've watched the documentary. Give it to us from your player's perspective about that relationship and that respect that John Madden seemed to have for Brett Favre, one of the all-time icons in the city you played in for 10 years.
Yeah, I think it was just the same thing with Brett. Brett was a charismatic guy. He loved to joke around, and John was the same way. And it would go about business, but then it would also, Brett was talking that John wanted to know personal questions when he interviewed, like, who you got coming into town this weekend. And it wasn't necessarily just about the game, because there's a lot of other things that happen, outside that people don't understand, that you've got to deal with prior to the game and leading up to, and during the game. And so John understood that, and he asked, like, who you have coming in, what's going on, where you going to eat, or to everything that was all just personal. And so I think there was just that love and respect for each other that made their relationship even better, because they were able to laugh and get along.
Brett Goode with us now here on the Morning Rush. Brett, I'm going to transition back to Arkansas football here for a sec. And I look at this bowl game coming up. We were talking about the opt-outs. Penn State's, I think, got 5 now that have opted out for this bowl game, a couple Big Ten and All-American performers. So the expectation is that now Arkansas win this football game. And we saw it earlier this season when they were favored against Auburn, and they came up short, especially in the second half. What kind of expectations do you think the players and the coaching staff have placed on themselves heading into this game Saturday?
Well, I think the expectation is always to win, and regardless of anybody's opting out or not. There's certain schools have players that are sitting there that are obviously good players. So when somebody opts out, you can't necessarily say, "Oh, we've got this one in the bag now," because this person's opted out. They've got somebody else that's hungry that hadn't had a chance because he's been sitting behind that All-American, and now he wants to show what he can do. And this is a great chance for him to do that. It's on national TV, and everybody's going to be watching. So this is a great springboard for him and his career moving. And so Arkansas's got to, you got to go out there and focus. You got to just do the same thing that you've always done. You don't have to do anything special, but the expectation is to win. And each person on the line and every other position, you got to beat the man across from you.
Bro, we talked about one with the UCLA-NC State game getting canceled 5 hours before kickoff yesterday. That makes me a little nervous, and hopefully this isn't going to happen. I'm knocking on wood as we're speaking. But when you see these bowl games cancellations, you see these continuous opt-outs coming from the Nittany Lions, do you have any concern due to Penn State not having enough guys?
It very well could. When you test as much as all these players, college and all sports that are being played right now, and so when you go to the different games, these guys are doing things, they're getting out and about, and so you can't really, it's not a controlled environment anymore. So you're going to have lots of positive cases. So I think there will be, maybe if not get affected by canceling, they're going to have a lot of players that are, that aren't going to be. That's just kind of where we're at right now. And I think that I think the betting lines, that's what gets confusing when you're starting to, you look, because you really don't know until it's kind of interesting to watch COVID and people opting out.
It's that Arkansas goes forward with this game and basically, the majority of this roster is intact as we're here. Up against a Penn State team that's seemingly lost like half their starters, does that put more pressure on you as an Arkansas team that, hey, you got a lot more explaining to do if you can't beat a Penn State team missing half their starters? To me, it seems to put the pressure on the Razorbacks squarely.
I think so, especially right now. The SEC is 0-3 in bowl games, and so
4, I think.
You've got to. He's 0-4 now. Okay, so you look at that and you say, hey, is the SEC, they're losing bowl games, and it's not a full completed team, but that's not an excuse because you've got an SEC depth chart, and you've got other positions like we were saying with Penn State earlier. They've got somebody else ready to step up, and that should be the way all these SEC teams are. So for Arkansas, I don't think it's more pressure to where you should go out there and fill 10. But it's more pressure that they need to go out there and show everybody that, hey, we are a legitimate team. We've had a big jump in our program, from obviously what it was a few years ago. And we were at one point, we were in the top 10 this year. So, you want to go out there and kind of solidify that season and show everybody that, hey, that we are special and we're on the right path where we want to go. And what better chance to do that than in a bowl game against a really good opponent.
Yeah, and does all of this and what we're seeing with the rosters decimated in so many places, teams opting out, what does that tell you about the level of importance or the weight or the value even the general public's putting on this game? Does it change your perspective about what these games truly mean other than maybe the semifinals and the championship game?
To me, no. If you're a fan of a program, it doesn't change a whole lot because I'm excited for this game. It's not every day you can see Arkansas play Penn State, and so that's the excitement of it. We're not going to put them on the schedule anytime soon, so this is pretty much your only chance for a long time that we're going to see each other, and so that's exciting. Kind of see where your program's at because Penn State, I think it was last year, or the year before, they were very well respected, high top 10, and so. How much two programs can go in 2 years, but they've still got that core, of the players on those teams, and so that's what's interesting. And that's for all these games. There's always going to be guys opting out. I think more and more each year are opting out, but you always have that good group of seniors that they want to finish something, and that's on both sides of the ball for every team. And they want to finish what they started, and this is the end of their season. This is their championship game, and. For Arkansas, we weren't expecting to go to the college football playoffs, so these guys are excited because they've earned this bowl game. They've had blood, sweat, and tears of earning this bowl game for this program, and it's not just given to them. Like they actually earned this, and that's what's respectful of them. That they've gone out there and they've played hard, and so I'm excited to see them.
Now you found your niche kind of in life after football as an employee benefits specialist. Tell people what you can do to help their business in 2022 when it comes to employee benefits.
Well, we're already working on groups, and the biggest thing is just trying to get a game plan for everybody and see where they need help. Trying to we're going to be still trying to get new employees and keep the ones that you got. And so we're really just go to market and make sure that you're getting everything that you need and you're getting everything out of your benefit package that you need to be. And so that's what's the exciting part is breaking those down and making them go to work.
When you say go to market, tell everybody listening what that means. That means you finding them the best options and the best prices, right?
We got 3 health carriers in the state of Arkansas. Obviously, if we're in a different state, which I'm licensed in other states, you move different carriers. And then you've also got your ancillary products, your worksite benefits that you go to market on that as well. And, we're going to 5 carriers on that and just really trying to making them compete against each other so that you're getting the best rate.
There you go. 651-2292. That's 479-651-2292 for Brett Goode with Henderson Phillips available 24/7 for you for a call or a text to talk about your employee benefits. Brett, have a great new year, and we'll talk to you in 2022.
All right, sounds good. Happy New Year.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.